I used to rack my brain trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I make more money? How do I help my family? How do I stop feeling anxious and overwhelmed and exhausted? How do I get the relationship that I want? How do I feel happy, like really happy? How do I get what I want? If you want to know how I answered those questions, keep watching. Before we jump in, my name is Soul, and I created the Living Narrative to demystify transformation and healing and show you how quickly you can change your story and design a life you love. Because the story you tell becomes the life you live, and your story is alive. So subscribe and hit the bell button so that you don't miss a video. So like a lot of people, I used to have a lot of anxiety. I did not feel safe in the world. I grew up with a pretty chaotic childhood, and to be honest, I thought there was something wrong with me. Deep down, I didn't really like myself. And I was in counseling and talk therapy. I did yoga and meditation. I listened to all of the podcasts. I read all of the books. I went to personal development events, and I started to understand what was going on. I started understanding I had these patterns, and I had like triggers and emotions, and I could see all of these problems, and I became very aware of them. But I didn't actually have a solution to change them. And when I was going to talk therapy, I was just saying the same thing over and over. And although I would feel a little bit better after talking about my feelings for an hour, nothing really changed. And I found year after year, I was just dealing with the same thing, and it was so frustrating because now I was super aware of my problems with no idea how to actually change them. Until I started to understand that it was actually the words I was speaking and the way I was thinking about my situation that was keeping me trapped. And how I really learned that and actually changed my life is with Rapid Transformational Therapy. My first introduction to any form of hypnotherapy was when I decided I wanted to quit smoking. And I had a hypnosis session, and it literally completely wiped my mind. Like, I literally instantly, after I think it was like a 2 or 3 hour session, walked out of that office and completely forgot I had ever smoked anything. Cigarettes, weed, like none of it. I had no idea. And I even had this physiological response that if somebody was smoking on the street, my throat would literally swell up and close. It was so rejecting any kind of smoke. And I thought, wow, this is insane that the body is capable of this, that the mind and the body working together in harmony are capable of this kind of massive shift in habitual behavior. So I immediately was like, okay, I need to get to the bottom of this. What is happening here? I started reading sports psychology books. I found Marissa Peer, who's the creator of Rapid Transformational Therapy, and she's an amazing therapist, and I thought, I want to train with the best. In the first week of the training, we were in person. One of my classmates was practicing with me, and I was relaxed, and she says, okay, what do you see? I have my eyes closed, and I'm like, I'm not really seeing anything, like it's just dark. And a trainer came over and she said, okay, just be patient, like be curious, don't try to force anything. And so I just relaxed, and I was like, I don't know, it's all black. Maybe I was like, okay, I feel pretty cozy. Like maybe I'm in a pile of blankets. Like this is kind of nice and cozy. And then all of a sudden, this like piercing light comes through, and I'm like blinded by this light, and it's so intense. And then there's just like blood everywhere, and it was so scary. Oh, I have chills even just telling you this story. And I started to like realize like this was my birth. I was re-experiencing my birth. I couldn't believe it. Like at first there was all this terror and fear and the light, and it was all so shocking. And then as I like eased into it and breathed into it, all of a sudden I felt the most love beaming at me from my mom. And I could just feel so much love as she actually held me. And it was so profound to re-experience that, because I really needed that peace. And that was really the beginning of this massive healing journey for me, where this general sense of anxiety and doom and gloom that I carried throughout my whole life finally lifted. And the weeks and the months that followed this particular moment was, it just like, I had this optimism and this lightness about myself. I was just happier, and it was sort of unexplainable. It wasn't a specific thing, but I just felt more love. And when I called up my mom and I was like, Mom, what happened? You know, we never really had a conversation about it, but, you know, she had a C-section, and it was kind of like a little bit scary. So powerful to go back and have that healing happen. And so that was my introduction to Rapid Transformational Therapy. And that was about 5 years ago. And now I have the most rewarding career, and I've helped hundreds of people completely transform their story. I specialize in helping people with addictions, chronic pain, self-esteem, weight issues, sexuality, and especially women's issues. I'm really passionate about helping women regain their power, their pleasure, and their sense of confidence to create and design a life that they absolutely love. Because the world needs more people who are turned on by their lives. It's not about hard work and constantly doing all of this self-work and self-development. Like, you don't need to work so hard at this. You just need to change your story, because the story you tell becomes the life you live. Just like my client, Catherine. She was approaching 40. She had a ton of relationship baggage. She was constantly attracting these narcissistic men who were kind of like not fully committed, but dragging her on. She was at the point where her social anxiety was getting so bad that she couldn't even go to visit her friends without having 2-3 glasses of wine. And it even got to the point where she couldn't go to the gym without drinking wine first. So she called me up, and she was desperate. She really needed a change, and she tried a lot of different things. She tried therapy. She was in therapy most of her life. She was doing meditation, and it wasn't really helping her. And so she was really desperate when she called me. So we did a couple of sessions. She joined my 3-month rebirth program, and we systematically went through the emotional blocks, the stories, and the baggage that she was still holding from her past relationships, from her childhood. We got to the root cause of the issues. And instead of trying to like manage the relationships, we just went to the root and unplugged those old patterns and planted new seeds in her subconscious mind so that she could start to love herself, know her self-worth, own it, and feel powerful. And when she started to feel powerful, which happened right away, just after the first couple of sessions, she started to make new decisions for herself. She quit drinking, she quit smoking, she got into the best shape of her life. And about 6 months after, she sent me, so 6 months after we finished the 3-month program, which at this point now was about a year ago, she sent me an email that she is having a baby and she's married to the love of her life. And it all happened so fast. And this is the kind of thing that can happen when you are aligned in your power and owning your power to create a life that you absolutely love. And it's not from like doing all of the things and being better. It's about resolving these like little open trauma loops. They're like triggers, and they just keep wanting to be expressed, and they can get in the way of your health. They can get in the way of your success in your business. It can get in the way of your relationships. And ultimately, it's a self-love journey. It's all about claiming your worth, owning who you really are, and knowing and loving who you really are. And that is why I absolutely love Rapid Transformational Therapy, because it gets to the root of those core issues. Instead of dealing with the symptoms of it all and journaling and doing these manifesting techniques and like all of the stuff that's like a lot of work, Rapid Transformational Therapy gets to the root and helps you to transform any story, usually in one session, 1 or 2 sessions for a specific issue. Like, I don't know anything else that gets that kind of results, which is why I'm totally obsessed with RTT. If you haven't already, hit subscribe to this channel if you're into what I'm sharing with you. And I'm going to share with you behind the scenes of my own personal transformational sessions and those of my clients, because it's so fascinating to actually see some of the connections that you can make. And a lot of the times, it's not what you'd expect. So hit the subscribe button and the bell button so that you don't miss a video. And let me know in the comments, have you ever experienced hypnosis or rapid transformational therapy. Maybe you've watched a video or listened to an audio somewhere here on YouTube, or maybe you've had a session with a therapist. I'd love to know what your experience has been in the comments below. So what is RTT? It combines a bunch of really powerful techniques from neurolinguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, psychotherapy, regression therapy, and a bunch of different techniques that allows you to get to the root cause of any habit, pattern, behavior, trigger that is preventing you from living the life that you desire. Anything that's holding you back, if you have an emotional trigger or a compulsive habit, procrastination, if you have any issues with your body, there's always a connection to your subconscious mind. I help people with skin issues and chronic pain and migraines and all kinds of different things that you might be spending all of your time trying to get the perfect diet, but that is dealing with the symptom rather than getting to the root cause. And there's always a connection with your emotional body, and you can access that through your subconscious mind. So with RTT, we get to the root cause. We find out why you are exhibiting whatever behavior, habit, pattern, or trigger that's happening, get to the root cause, resolve it. Like I mentioned, those open trauma loops, we come to completion with them so they don't need to keep coming up at the worst times ever. And hypnosis accesses your subconscious mind. So when you're thinking and you're sitting here problem solving 1 + 1 = 2, and you're actively thinking about your list of things to do for the day, and you're using your conscious mind, did you know that that's only responsible for about 5% of your actions and behaviors and habits in a day? And actually, most of who you are and what you experience in a day, 95% of your habits, actions, behaviors, and beliefs are all held in the subconscious mind. That's a big chunk of why you are the way you are. And so that's why it's so powerful to access the subconscious mind when you want to make a change in your belief systems, your behaviors, or your habits. If you want to know just how powerful your mind is, here's a list of things that you can affect and influence using your subconscious mind. Lack of confidence, low self-esteem, self-doubt, self-criticism, perfectionism, fear of not fitting in, social anxiety, emotional issues like old traumas, blocked emotions, deeply rooted fixed beliefs, anger issues, health problems, insomnia, anxiety, claustrophobia, stress, migraines, pain, IBS, weight loss, bad habits, fears and addictions, unhealthy eating habits, shopping, drinking, procrastination, fear of change, fear of uncertainty, money beliefs, poor performance at work, presentation skills, confidence, leadership, pitching, business and selling your services, fear of getting hurt, commitment, painful experiences of the past traumas, jealousy, repetitive patterns of dating, and the list goes on. Basically, there's nothing that you can't powerfully influence by using the tools that help you to access your subconscious mind, such as Rapid Transformational Therapy. If you'd like to learn more, you can go to thelivingnarrative.com or click the link in the description below, and you can schedule a free life direction session to figure out where you are now, where you want to go, and what's holding you back. And you can also find out if Rapid Transformational Therapy is right for you. Check out this video to find out why you sabotage your success and how to put an end to self-sabotage permanently. And if you'd like to know more about my story, check out this video, which is my first podcast episode. And don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell button if you'd like to be notified every time I post a video on Tuesdays and Thursdays. See you in the next episode.